Hey, welcome to Sports Unfolded NBA Ranking Show. I am your host, Eric. My big dog right over there, Kenny. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good, doing good.
All right, my friend. So we got a lot to cover tonight because if you look at it, the season's almost over. Might have one more rankings in us before the season ends. So it's going to be interesting to see. We're going to talk a little bit about playoff basketball today. Got to some playoff implications there as well. So we'll talk a little bit about everything, but let's get that list up here first and just see where we were. Little typo in the list itself, but we will correct that. So Phoenix comes in at number 5. They are not 43 and 25. They're 43 and 35. Philadelphia at 4. Denver Nuggets at 3. Milwaukee Bucks at 2. And the Boston Celtics are your number 1 team going into this week. So I'll ask you first and foremost, why Phoenix and not Sacramento? I didn't think you could give me a good answer on that one. I'm telling you, you're sleeping on the Kings, my friend. They're the second best team in the West. Second best team in the West.
I want to put them in there so bad, but
you fell in love with Kevin Durant coming back. KD comes back. You fell in love, got the googly eyes going, and that's what happened, man.
Yeah,
that's what happened. But
yeah,
all right, let's talk about that Phoenix Suns team. They're 43 and 35, 26 and 12 at home, 17 and 23 on the road. Not a very good road record. 28 and 20 in the conference right now.
Yeah.
113.6 points per game, 111.5 points against, 6 and 4 in their last 10, but I think 6 and 0 since Kevin Durant came back, or 6 and 0 since Kevin Durant's played with them. Yes. Their next 4 games. So we're just going to talk a little bit about, obviously, for the playoff implications. San Antonio, Denver at home, at the Lakers, and then home to end it with the Clippers. What's your expectation here of Phoenix? So they can move anywhere on this this spectrum here. I'm gonna bring up the standings while you're talking. But what do you think Phoenix is going to be?
Phoenix is going to be a heavy hitter, like you said. They're 6 and 0 with Kevin Durant, and he is shooting 64%, if you can believe it or not. So they have Booker, they have Chris Paul, they have Durant. The only problem, if Ayton can get big, rebound at both ends, they can make some noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, so currently 4th in the West. They're 2.5 games up on the Clippers, so that Clippers game could be big for them, depending on if they lose a game or two here. Golden State at 6. They look pretty locked into the 4 seed, which means if 4 plays, right, 4-5 matchup, so they play the Clippers right now, possibly the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
But the West is so wide open. If you look at, there's only 3 teams that have clinched: Denver, Memphis, and Sacramento.
Yeah.
After that, Kenny, if you look at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, they're 3 games separate them with about 3 to 4 games left in the season. Dallas and Utah currently looking out for the 10th seed. A game back of Oklahoma City is Dallas, and a game and a half for Utah. So the West is definitely an interesting, dynamic when it comes to who can get in. Phoenix, though, not playing well on the road.
Yeah.
17 and 23. They need that 4th spot, right? You think? Because if they have to go on the road in a best of 7 series now, they're looking at, more games on the road than at home. That could ultimately cost them.
Yeah.
And I've heard some interesting things. If you look at the Phoenix Suns, they are a shoot first team. They don't drive to the hoop.
No.
Sometimes in the playoffs, that can be dangerous because you can shut down a good shooter. It's the teams that can get to the hole, get to the free throw line, slow the game down a little bit. Does that concern you with Phoenix?
The only thing that really concerns me is their bench. Their bench is shooting 33%. So you need a bench in the playoffs where, guys can get rest and you got to have a little spark off the bench.
Yeah, and again, if you think about health, you're still Devin Booker missed some time. KD's obviously missed some time. Chris Paul has missed some time. You cannot afford to have none of these guys in the playoff push.
Yes. So,
the schedule too, it's tough. San Antonio, we figure, is a cakewalk. It should be.
Yeah.
Then Denver, the Lakers, who have played very good basketball since LeBron's come back,
Mhm.
and the Clippers, who are still in that 5 spot to possibly take that 4 seed. So this is a
Yeah.
very big week for the Phoenix Suns.
Oh yeah, very
think
big
so.
week.
What's next week? I'm going Sacramento. Go bring those Kings, the beam team, baby.
Beam team.
So let's talk about Philadelphia 76ers. 51-27, 28-11 at home, 23-16 on the road, 31-17 in the conference, 115.1 points per game, 110.6 given up, 5-5 in their last 10. So they're slipping at the wrong time. Very tough schedule here. The last 4 games they have: Boston, then Miami. They're both at home, at Atlanta, and then at Brooklyn. So Philadelphia in this 500 mode the last 10 games. Not a good time to be playing 500 basketball going into the playoffs. Would you not agree?
I agree. Not a good time. Joel Embiid is one of the best best players this year. 33 points per game, shooting 67%. Harden has a point guard that can finally give him the ball, but they lack defense, as you can see last week.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, this is the one hiccup we said was going to be Philadelphia's Achilles heel, is that they get into these big games late in the season and they seem to struggle. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And let's see where they stand right now. They're currently third in the East.
Third in the East, yep.
3-6 matchup. So if that's the case, Brooklyn at the very last game. So if this realistically, that could be their first.
Ooh.
I think I lost my connection, and I am back. I am back.
All right.
That was a little weird. All right. So we were talking about Philadelphia. And do you that 3-6 matchup? How do you play that, Kenny? If it's the last game of the season and you know that you're going to face this team, do you sit and rest your starters and not give up anything, or do you play that game to try to see how your team matches up?
Oh, you play that game. Embiid and Harden, 33 and 15 when they're on the floor together. So you got to play that game. Every game counts at this point, and you got to make statements at the end of the season.
We talked about it the other day. You sent a message in the group chat. We were talking, and they sat Joel, and I think Harden didn't play one of their games. And you think about where they are right now currently.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Kenny, before we move to the next team. NBA, the new CBA comes out. They've talked now about this 65 game limit on it to be awarded a player. So like MVP, you have to play at least 65 games. Do you like that rule?
Yeah. No.
You don't?
No.
Why?
No. Injury. You know what? Injuries will happen. I just don't like, okay, give them a day rest because, we need them this, we need them that day, we need them this day. Injuries I can see, but if you're going to rest people, just to rest people.
But that's what I'm saying. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to force it so you have to play.
Yeah. The old NBA never did that. No days off.
Look, so this is what they're trying to do. No, I agree with you, and that's what I think they're trying to do now, right? They're trying to say, hey, look, if you don't play at least 65 games where you were capable of playing 65 games, you can't be an MVP. You can't be, you know what I mean, most improved player or whatever some of these stats are. I like it. It's going to force players to have to play, I would think. I would hope. Because the current system just doesn't work.
And hopefully they play in the big games.
Yeah.
Games that mean
more than absolutely
good matchups.
So at 3, you had the Denver Nuggets 52-26, 33-7 at home, 19-19 on the road, 500, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
33-15 in the conference. 116.1 points per game, 112.4 given up, 6-4 in their last 10. These last 3 games could be interesting. At Houston, but then at Phoenix, at Utah, and Sacramento. to end it at home.
Yeah.
Again, they don't play well on the road. So those are 3 games that, again, 2 of those teams are possibly Utah, possibly in the playoffs. They're still holding on to that spot where they could make the playoffs. Phoenix with Kevin Durant now and fully healthy, that would be an interesting one. And then Sacramento, that's a big game to see
Big,
where
huge
you
game.
stand
Yep. Big,
to end the
huge game.
season.
Huge game.
So Jokic kind of taking a notch back the MVP race. Does that affect Denver? Do you think that matters to them at this point? How does Denver play it to be the best team in the West and win it?
They just play. Jokic is still truly amazing. He has 62% in the paint. They're 14th in offensive. The only thing I'm worried about is their bench. But you know what? Jokic can pass. Okay, he can pass. He can do everything. And here's a stat for you. When he passes, Michael Porter shoots 41%. KCP, 41%. Jamal Murray, 39% when they get the ball from Jokic.
And he's a playmaker. He is a playmaker. Yeah. They're going to go as far as he takes him. But do you consider him a championship caliber player? As crazy as it sounds, right? He's been putting up MVP numbers for 3 years straight now, and they have not made it to the Western Conference Finals and won the whole thing. And even to the finals. Could this be the year? Is the West so wide open that they have the shot, or do you think it's too wide open where they legitimately could be in trouble here?
It's too wide open. Way too wide open. Way too wide open. If you see them, their bench is struggling, and at the end of games, they're just tired. Jokic looks fatigued. He looks tired. It's been a long season. I mean, if their bench can come alive, but their offense is struggling right now. But if their bench can come alive in the playoff, give this guy some rest, give this guy some help.
But usually in the playoffs, you shrink your roster shrinks a little bit. So Jamal Murray, Porter, Jokic, I mean, that's a very good tandem, trio, if you look at it.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see. Nobody's giving them the shot to be the best team in the West, though. Why is that, Kenny?
Because the West is still wide open. You got Phoenix. You still got Memphis in there. You still got Sacramento in there.
Thank you. You didn't say it. Sacramento. Yep. Thank you.
You still got Sacramento
in there.
That can make some moves. That can.
Young team. I love it. I love the Kings here. I love it. Wait till you see the do you know, Kenny. Wait until you do you know. All right, let's talk some Eastern Conference here with the Milwaukee Bucks, 56-22. They slide to 2, which surprised me here, Kenny. But that might have been that Boston Celtics blowout. Would that be one of the reasons?
Yes.
You dropped them down? Okay. 31-8 at home, 25-14 on the road, 33-16 in conference play, 117 points per game, 113 points given up, 7-3 in their last 10. Last 4 here at Washington, then home for Chicago, home for Memphis, and then at Toronto. Not a difficult schedule. I would say they should be at that Memphis game. But again, towards the end of the season, some of these guys may not play or not play a lot of minutes. So Milwaukee right now holding on to that 1 seed in the East. How important is the 1 seed? Do you think they hold on? They have a 2-game lead on Boston currently.
Yeah, they need that. They're not as good on defense as Celtics or the
Philadelphia 76ers. Yep, they give up more points than Philly.
Thank you. 76ers. Yeah. But they have a guy that can get to the rim anytime he wants.
And who is that? Right? Giannis is still one of the best players in the league. Yeah. Again, when we talk about these teams, each one of them has a guy right now, right? Yeah. Phoenix, Kevin Durant, you can say legitimately, right, could be arguably the best player in the NBA if healthy.
Yeah.
Embiid with Philly, Denver with Jokic, Giannis, right, with Milwaukee. So the Bucks, if they hold on to the 1 seed, do you put them as the favorite to win the East, Kenny?
No, I don't put them as the favorite to win the East.
Really?
But you know what I like about the Bucks? It's not just Giannis. Between Giannis, Holiday, and Lopez, they are 41-12 when they're all played together.
Yeah.
So if they can stay healthy, which they have been. They have been healthy. Giannis took some games off, but he muscled through some
Yeah,
of
and
those
think
games when he was injured.
Kenny, what was their issue last year and why they lost, right? They lost Middleton. They didn't have
Yeah,
another guy that could step up. This
yeah,
season, you've seen it. Drew Holiday has been a legitimate player for them.
yeah,
Brooke Lopez, one of the best defensive players in the league, and he's still getting a double-double as well on top of it.
yeah,
Giannis has some help here. This
yeah,
to me scares me because I feel like this Bucks team is better than the one that won the championship 2 years ago.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
they've got more players now, and Middleton coming off the bench is still a formidable player where he can create some mismatches and make it difficult. This to me, this Bucks team, I see them as the favorite in the East. I'm curious to see. I know you put Boston at 1. Is that who you're saying is the favorite in the East?
I am. I am. I am.
Really?
The Bucks got to make free throws. They're terrible at the free throw line. What are they? 34% at the free throw line? They got to make them free throws.
But I would
They're
say
terrible.
Boston has to make threes. Boston is one of those teams. If they don't make in 3-pointers, they're not very successful.
Yeah,
So
true.
it's going to be an interesting matchup. I mean, we could talk some Boston here at the number 1 spot. 54-24, 29-9 at home,
Mhm.
25-15 on the road, 31-17 in conference play, 118.4 points per game, 111.8 points given up, 7-3 in their last 10 games at Philadelphia, Toronto, back-to-back home games, and then Atlanta to close out the season before the playoffs. We've talked about Boston a lot. They had that 1 seed for the majority of the season, and then towards the last month or two have given Milwaukee that edge. How important is it to Boston? In your eyes, it doesn't affect them if they get the 2 seed.
No, it doesn't affect them at all. We're 2-1 against Milwaukee, 3-0 against the 76ers. That drive and kick and shoot is working for us. I don't know how. People need to scout that, but it works. I don't know how it works, but it works. It works.
I am still I don't know if I just don't want to believe it. I don't. Tatum has been a great player this season for them. He's broken some all-time Celtic records and some of his scoring and what he's been able to do.
Yeah.
But I still have that lack of confidence. And I don't know if it was from the finals and how they got shut down in the finals where they can still underperform at certain points. And I feel like the East is so much tougher this year than it was last year. Like you're looking at, if we look at the right now, 7 through 10, because they play one of these teams, you got
Yeah.
Miami, Atlanta, Toronto, and Chicago. They're playing Toronto twice. They're playing Atlanta. These are all going to be teams. They may face one of these teams in the first round.
True.
That's what scares me is that how do they play this now to either not give up too much by showing too much, but can you afford not to play and not try to get that 1 seed?
Yeah, we can't afford. Cannot afford to not play.
How big is that Philly game too?
Oh, that's tonight. That's tonight. Oh,
That's what I'm saying. And then I think Rob Williams helped now. Here we go again. Rob Williams probably not
yeah,
playing. Jaylen
right.
Brown was questionable with a back injury.
Yeah.
You don't want to have injuries with 4 games left in the season.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
And
And that's why Monday night they signed Justin Champagne from the G League.
you know what's let me not make that Chris Rock joke. You know where I was going, Kenny. You
You
know where I
like
was going.
champagne?
You know what's not and there's no champagne.
Yes,
All right.
yes. In the locker rooms.
All right.
In the locker
So
rooms.
so let's bring back up this list real quick before we go into our do you know. And I would ask you this, Kenny.
Mhm.
Phoenix at 5, you think it's a lock, or do you think that Sacramento could possibly take that 5 seed
Sacramento
before the
could
season ends?
Sacramento could take that five
I
spot.
think so.
Before
Philadelphia, if they lose to Boston tonight, will they be on the top 5?
No.
Denver, big games, Phoenix, Utah, Sacramento. Will they still be on this list at the end of the year?
Yes.
Guaranteed for you.
Yes.
Milwaukee.
Yes.
Milwaukee lock. Boston a lock.
Yes.
Will any of these teams drop? Will any of these teams? So obviously we said Philly and Phoenix may be off the list. 1, 2, 3. Could any of these teams be lower than 3 by the time the season ends? Putting some pressure on you, Kenny.
I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. You know what? Yeah. Celtics. They
Think the
might
Celtics
drop.
could drop? Okay.
They might drop to third.
All right. Okay. I respect that.
I'm gonna be realistic.
All right. Okay. All right. All right. So we're gonna have some fun with Do You Know, Kenny, and we're gonna ask you if you know some of these questions. So the interesting one is I tried to see, since you wouldn't give love to Sacramento, I gave love to Sacramento.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
they broke the all-time NBA playoff drought, or the longest playoff drought for any U.S. professional team. Currently was 16 years. They are finally back into the playoffs. Last time they made the playoffs was 05-06. So first question for you, Kenny, can you tell me the starting 5, or can you name some of the players from the starting 5 that year in the playoffs? Who was their starting 5 in the playoffs? I guess they faced San Antonio. Who was the 5 starters that started that in that series? The last time the Sacramento Kings made the playoffs.
Ooh, let's see. Chris Webber.
Wrong.
Oh, jeez. What? What year?
Already wrong.
What year? Oh, what year?
05-06.
05-06.
He might have been with the Washington then.
Oh, I forgot he went to Washington. Oh, that's terrible, yo. All right. 05-06. Wow.
Yes, sir. This 5, man, and there were some players. There were some guys here.
All right. I'm gonna go with Pager.
Pager was on the team. He didn't start.
Right,
so he was on the team. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, Pager. Pager was on there.
Stojakovic.
Yep.
Stojakovic. Yep.
Ooh, Mike Bibby.
Mike Bibby. Yes, Mike Bibby was one. Good job.
Okay. All right. Mike Bibby. Who was that backcourt? Dad, who was that backcourt? It was Mike Bibby. Oh, what's his name? Tyreke Evans.
No.
No?
No.
Tyreke Evans wasn't on that team?
No, sir.
Oh, that's bogus.
All right. I'm going to give it to you because, I don't think you're going to get this, my friend. Okay. Are you ready? So, Mike Bibby, you are correct.
Yep.
Also starting for him that season in that playoff game, in that playoff series, Brad Miller.
Oh,
center. He used to, I think he was with Indiana before that, right? Indiana?
Yes. Yep. Brad.
Okay, Kenny Thomas.
Okay.
Bonzi Wells.
Back
from the Trailblazers.
Oh my God, I'm so mad about that.
And you ready for this one?
Yeah.
Metta World Peace, baby. Metta World Peace was on that starting 5 in that playoff series. Metta World Peace. Played 4 years for the Kings. I didn't even remember that with him.
What?
Yes, Metta World Peace.
The basketball guy formerly known as Ron Artest?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
That is
all right.
That is, and I'm gonna do this for you, just like because you don't believe me.
Wow.
There he is.
Wow.
Bibby and Metta. Back in the day, 2005-06 was one of these starters for those Kings that year.
Wow.
Is that not crazy?
Wow.
That's a long time. You think about
it.
Metta was been around.
Yep.
Metta has been around.
Wow.
Metta has been around.
I forgot all about. Jeez, I forgot all about that. Okay. All right.
So there's one down.
All right.
Kenny, now that the Kings no longer hold the record, this is your second question. Which team now currently holds the longest record and how many seasons?
Ooh. I'm going to say
I gotta get some theme music for this because I feel like you need it.
Seattle Supersonics.
Seattle Supersonics.
Oh no, I'm sorry, no. I'm thinking no, sorry, no, because of Thunder.
Okay.
Duh,
Okay.
duh,
OKC.
duh.
OKC is your guess?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Dang, that's a hard one. Play this. Yeah, I don't got it.
All right, my friend. It would be the Charlotte Hornets,
Wow.
including this season. Now will be 6 years. It's only 6 years though. So 2017, the last time they made the playoffs.
2017
with Kemba.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's been the last time. That's why Michael Jordan's still on the team. There you go. Ate at Michael Jordan's yesterday, by the way. Very good. It's kind of cool. They put the little air symbol on the bread, on the buns.
Really?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. You got the Michael Jordan symbol on the actual bread that comes out with your sandwiches. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Okay. Mike doing big things in restaurant business. Not so much in the NBA. Not so much in the NBA.
Nope.
Kenny, last question.
All right, I got this.
For the Kings. You ready? So we just talked about the 5 guys that started for that team, right? We talked about some of the guys that might have been on the bench. Who coached that team that year? That was the last time the Kings made the playoffs.
Ooh. Oh 05, 06?
05, 06. Very
05,
good coach.
06?
Very good coach. Coached a couple of different teams, actually. Was pretty successful.
05, 06. You know what? I want to say Rick Adelman, but I don't think that's right.
I don't know. Is that your guess?
Because he coached Portland and he went over to Sacramento.
Yeah.
Dad. Because I know it wasn't what could have been. No, it wasn't him. Yeah, I'm going with Rick Adelman. 05, 06.
05, 06. Could it have been Rick Adelman? I don't know, Kenny. I think
06.
you are right, my friend. Rick Adelman. All right. Look at that. I had to put our test back in there again. Well, Meta World Peace. I apologize. I had to put Meta World Peace back in there again. But Rick Adelman was their head coach back in 05, 06, the last time the Sacramento Kings made the playoffs. So that was a little Kings playoff history there. I thought that was a good one to have since they broke that streak.
Wow. Yep. Wow. Rick Adelman. Wow.
Rick Adelman. Good guess, my friend. So this has been Sports Unfolded NBA ranking show. We try to do one of these every week off of our rankings that we post every Monday or Tuesday. We've got about another week or so left of the season, so we'll have our final NBA rankings up probably next week, which will be really exciting to see. And then we get into playoff basketball, Kenny. I'm sure we'll do a couple of these just for the playoffs and have some fun with that as well. But I can't wait it myself. I'm really looking forward to this offseason this postseason because I really feel like there's so many teams that could win it this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost similar to the NCAA tournament. Let's congratulate UConn. The Huskies,
congratulations.
Them winning it. LSU, the Lady Tigers there.
Yeah.
Them winning it as well. But if you look at some of those teams, I think LSU had a 5% chance going in to win the whole thing. Yeah. And then UConn, I mean, the way they dominated throughout the tournament, did not see that coming. So this was it was wide open NCAA. I feel like the NBA playoffs is going to be even crazier. Because it's so wide open. To your point, the West, to me, there's not as crazy as Ron thought I was. The Lakers have a legitimate shot to win the West.
Yep, they do.
Who would have said that 3 months ago?
Exactly, right?
Not even remotely on the radar. Now they could possibly get up to the 5 seed.
If LeBron wants it, he can go get it.
Right? It's insane. Like the West is so crazy. The East, all those teams are so strong that even though Philly, we think is one of those teams that always chokes in the playoffs, they have the players to get it done.
Yeah.
Right.
Do.
And right now, the 5 teams that have clinched, Milwaukee, Boston, Philly, Cleveland, and New York. I could honestly see any of those teams could possibly win this thing.
Even the Knicks clinched.
right? The Knicks. Like, who expected this? That's what I'm saying, man. It's going to be so much fun. Can't wait to watch it. We'll be talking about it next week. Probably our final NBA rankings of the season. So who finishes as the top 5? Looking forward to that. Tune in every Friday night on Rhode Island Broadcasting for our regular scheduled program with Ron, my other co-host. That is on at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. So check that out. Kenny, I always appreciate your basketball insight. I look forward to the next week's list to see where the season ended. And then we're going to talk some playoff basketball. So we're really excited about that as well. So I will make sure we are on next week so we get some of that going. And I will see you next week.
Yes, you will.
All we have asked for is peace on earth.
Peace.